Hello, what is up everyone? It is I, the one and only Maxi here, and I am back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Wario Land 2 for the Game Boy/Game Boy Color. So last time we have managed to completely done with the forms of Chapter 4, which is of course in town, and now we're going to be heading on to the forms of the final chapter. Well, to be more specifically, the normal final chapter, like a primeval, like, you know, final chapter in the game, and that's what it appears to be. Well, we're going back into Syrup Castle ever since the first game. So, story 1, get to the castle itself. So because of this, yeah, not much else to say about this, I'm afraid, apart from the fact that, well, till tomorrow, that after this video releases, is that, of course, the E3 is about to be happening tomorrow, so I'm super excited about this, especially noticeable about the fact that with more announcements and all the other jazz is coming. So either way though, I'll talk more about the forms of my final predictions of the forms of this year's E3, but before we talk more about that, is the fact that obviously today's day is of course the Friday the 11th of June today, in this case in 2021 today, and also during around the same day actually, which is of course today, is that the Ratchet and Clank Rafter parts for the PlayStation 5 has just recently released today on the PlayStation 5. So even then though, in fact, I don't suppose that anyone else gets the PlayStation 5 yet, mainly it's because of some stalking issues, but either way though, it knows what it is sometimes when it comes to the forms of, you know, console debuts or something like that, which is kind of hard to explain because I know it has been quite a few days actually since I actually mentioned about something related to PlayStation 5, ever since, of course, the new Sonic game coming out for the PlayStation 5 system, which it wasn't until in 2022 it will happen. So either way though, and yeah, and also during that time as well, that I've managed to able to actually go back into Mario Kart Tour recently during the likes of today, that not only for able to hopefully predict the new forms of the new Mario Kart game, Mario Kart 9, but also get this though, is the fact that I'm pretty darn sure that, well, we can able to actually see what's going to happen during tomorrow, of course. But either way though, but unfortunately I don't think I can able to mention about that, and even Mighty the Armadillo might not actually mention about that during the course of throughout the weekend, which I'm sure that, well, obviously Mighty will able to mention more about it until whenever he goes back onto Mario Party 5, which obviously he'll be moving on to the second board. So because of this though, yeah, we'll save that discussion until the future, because even then though, from now on we'll just try to go ahead and keep on exploring through the majority of the places and all that stuff, and to be more specifically, we need to, you know, collect even more coins until eventually in the future, and to be more specific, that's, well, I'm very darn sure that we've almost at the halfway point of Wario Land 2 so far. Well, I usually say that because usually, relatively speaking, that after all we've gone for the whole entire, you know, plenty of chapters in the past, but either way though, we can expect we can able to do a bit of a, well, it's kind of hard to explain because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually did come back into this, because obviously Sonic, he managed to able to actually got into 2 parts so far for the sake of Super Monkey Ball Let's Play ever since, well, obviously since one on yesterday and the other one on Tuesday. So because of this though, yeah, there's not much right to hum about. So anyways, let's just go ahead and fly up there to able to actually grab even more coins while able to try to dodge a lot of spiky obstacles and all that stuff. So, but thankfully we did manage to didn't get hit at all, so either way though we can expect at this point. So yeah, you know, as I said, we're going back into the Syrup's Castle, or Syrup Castle to be more specific, because obviously ever since in the first game, that obviously we're going from level to level basically, but either way though, the only difference is now is the fact that we no longer gonna have to worry about just collecting power-ups and all that stuff, and also we don't need to worry about the time limit anymore. So because of that though, yeah, there's not much else to obviously try to talk about this aside from the fact that, well, it appears to be kind of similar to the first game, except the fact that, well, there's no extra lives or anything else like that, which is a good thing, because otherwise, if it does have extra lives, then you're probably gonna get a lot of life strainers, but at least that's besides the point, so... Oh yeah, something worth mentioning, speaking of Mario Kart Tour, is that obviously the new tour just happened, which I think I haven't mentioned about this either, during the course of the third part of this Let's Play in general, and that will have to be by the forms of the Wedding Tour, which actually features not only Wedding Peach, but also the wedding outfit for Mario, which ever since in Super Mario Odyssey, and of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So because of that though, speaking of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate though actually, is that I've noticed there might be some rumors, well it wasn't until we only got 1 day left, until E3's coming, but usually what I've noticed on the forms of Around the Clock YouTube channel, they did mention about the fact that maybe potentially that Captain Toad might actually become playable as DLC, but again, it's all about speculations at this point. In fact, this is the final day for speculations at this point. Well, at least it was until the other events already hosted these specific events ever since about, you know, a couple of days ago, such as like, well, it's kind of hard to explain because I know it has been quite a few days since I mentioned about something related to E3, but either way though, and plus because of the fact that this is still in the hot weather at the moment, likely for like 20 or so degrees at the moment, which I will say the actual weather conditions so far, as far as this week is concerned, is actually a bit better than the forms of how it does it on, well, let's just say in the forms of 2019's weather conditions before the E3, because obviously back in 2019 it's gone really horrible, like rainy weathers and you name the possibilities of, you know, specific predictions on weather conditions or something like that, but I digress. Now, of course, as you can tell, that it's pretty obvious is that we need to make our way to the end of the level, and that's what we have to do, so... And also another thing, I suppose that Sonic hasn't mentioned about, and even myself included, hasn't mentioned about this either, when it comes to other things worth noting for, is that recently Nintendo has just announced there's going to be a Nintendo Gallery as a new museum in Japan. So, that might be seems fascinating for able to actually just to hear more about it. Well, it wasn't until it's gonna open up until, well, it might actually finish the project during the course of March 2024, which is gonna be 3 years time, so that must have taken way too long to able to actually just to do all that stuff. So Story 2, Storm the Castle, meaning that we can now able to explore the castle itself, or I have no idea how do I usually try to able to say things right, but either way though, because again it has been 2 days since I actually did manage to come back into this game for quite some months now, so either way though, what do you expect by that point, so... Anyway, so, and I believe this is where we come across into ourselves our new transformation if we manage to be able to get smacked by the forms of that particular enemy with a hammer. But then again, I will probably show that off as soon as we're able to actually done quite a lot of exploration. Even especially noticeable just trying to able to collect, you know what I mean, more coins, and you probably name the suggestions by that point. So... yeah, anyway, another thing is worth noting for is the fact that, yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What is your final ever predictions when it comes to the forms of... oh no, there's the silver coin, no! Oh well, we'll try to able to actually get more coins later down the road. But yeah, this is the forms of a new transformation we come across into. This is the forms of a Spring Wario, which... if you manage to able to get smacked by the hammer, as you can see on screen, basically you'll become the forms of a bouncy kind of springy Wario, which basically just allows you to able to jump a bit higher, so that way you can able to reach higher places and all that stuff, which it can be pretty noticeable in the forms of several other, well, Wario coins to collect, and even especially a whole bunch of coins to collect. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that specific transformation. So, but either way though, I just want to get a move on because otherwise I might as well get stuck. But either way though, regardless of that, we actually did manage to make it anyway. I know there's Wario coins up there, but I think I probably, nah, it's gonna screw it. Even especially noticeable just trying to able to... oh, there's another transformation too, which appears to be Tiny Wario, which... yeah, it kind of feels like similar to the original Wario Land 1, except the fact that, well, it's all more accurately temporarily transformation if you manage to accidentally touch something like, you know, that little axe blade, as well as the forms of the water, and then basically that pretty much guaranteed that it allows you to transform back into your normal self. So, yeah, it's nothing predictably, I have no idea what to say, because obviously I'm still hyped, and also because I can't help but notice how the fact that how I'm gonna be basically hyped for this year's E3, because again, it has been 2 years after the last one, which is E3 2019, not 2020 though, just because that event is cancelled and replaced by other events, but, you know, let's not talk about that now, just because obviously this is a new year after all, and plus because of that though, we could expect April to get hyped on other stuff here and there as well, such as for instance with the forms of, you know, new films to come out, and oh, finally, I managed able to actually get myself a silver coin, which obviously contains 100 coins, so huzzah for that. So yeah, I get the feeling that the treasure room on this level is gonna be in that door over there. But before we get into that, I need to grab some more coins just to save it up for, you know, the number matching game. So because of that though, we can able to actually just deal with that. So, oh yeah, another thing is worth noting for is that, let me just go and do hardcore hard mode for the sake of this one, because obviously I need to save the ridiculous amount of coins, as far as I can tell for that point. So, yeah, that seems kind of feels a bit more, well, I don't know how to explain this. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What is your final ever predictions when it comes to this year's E3? Because I'd like to hear your thoughts, because I think my final predictions until the E3 is about to come, I would classify for saying, obviously, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be on there, and also, possibly Bayonetta 3 or Metroid Prime 4, despite the fact that those games might take a really long time to make. And, also, same applies to the forms of, well, as I mentioned this earlier, Mario Kart 9, if that's going to happen. And possibly, potentially, a new Mario Party game for the Switch, because I know for the fact that we are still carry on doing our Mario Party marathon of Let's Plays, obviously with, you know, Mighty still doing Mario Party 5 at the moment, which, as I said this before, that he will do the second board at some point this weekend. So, either way though, expecting to be hyped about the forms of more Mario Party craziness is going on, with all the luck and everything. So, either way though, expecting to be able to have some enjoyable out of, despite there are some luck-based elements to it, even with some of these worst mini-games coming up, so... But, you know, you get the idea for that specific, worth noting for. Oh, and also another thing too, is the fact that, obviously I'm just managed to able to actually no longer gonna be, wearing some long sleeve shirts at this point, because obviously I'm wearing short sleeves, because obviously with summer is now a thing. And also speaking of such though, is the fact that we've only got well, a couple of days left now until Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games is about to be starting. So either way though, expecting to be hyped, and also because of that though, what else is there I was really hyping for? Actually, to be honest with you, there's not much else I can say, because obviously that's, you know, I'm still gonna be, you know, trying to able to get the popcorns later on to for tonight, and because of that, I will able to be prepared for the forms of my reactions. Well, I'm probably not gonna do my reaction video. In fact, let me know in the comments, because if you do like these specific reactions, or if you like to see my reaction videos, then you probably might be able to actually enjoy them. Well, at least if I was going to be planning to do one. Well, at least I've never actually did my reaction videos for, like, just once from my entire channel, just because, well, obviously, that's, I do definitely know there are quite a lot of reaction videos out there. They are considerably able to be enjoyable to watch, but either way, though, it's just the fact that I haven't exactly done one yet, so... In fact, let me know in the comments, because even then though, if you'd like to let me do the forms of my first ever reaction video, then let me know, because otherwise that I haven't really done that much of it though, like something new, something different, or anything else like that, so Anyway, let's go ahead and use this little snow-like enemy to able to knock out these, is that the exit of the level already? Oh, I'm quite surprised. Now we've almost nearly at the end of this, so... In fact, talking of which, is the fact that we've almost at the halfway point in terms of Syrup Castle already. Despite the fact that it might actually be... Well, kind of longish, because sometimes it can be pretty tricky with platforming involved. Specifically with all these enemies, as you can see over there, and also some crumbling platforms every once in a while if you stand on them, and that's pretty much how that goes. So, and I suppose another prediction I was thinking of anyway is, of course, the final two Super Smash Bros. Ultimate fighters, which... Again, it's pretty much unknown at this point. Well, it wasn't until we find out until specifically in the weekend. Oh, nice! How lucky coincidence, I might add, for able to actually have myself 100 silver coin that I've managed to got. So, awesome, swell stuff. So, yeah, awesome. Now, I do apologize for the background noise you'll be hearing because I'm pretty sure there is, like, too much vehicles on the travel road. So, I do apologize for that. But anyway... let's see, is it 1 or 7? 1 or 7, because I can tell there aren't any, yeah, it's definitely gonna be 7, because I've recognized that particular, you know, that horizontal line of the second square, so even then, no, lucky 7 indeed. Alright, so that pretty much takes us to the 22nd, you know, the piece of a map, so, awesome, swell stuff. Now let's move on to Story 3, defeat 4 ducks. So meaning that we have to traverse through different rooms within the each and every single duck contains. So, and also we're gonna have to keep on utilizing the actual switching from that little switch block. So, yeah, that's something worth knowing for. And I got possessed by a ghost, meaning that I've somehow managed to force to transform into a zombie transformation. So... Oh, dang it, I mistimed my jumps correctly, but at least thankfully we can able to try that again multiple times, so... Time really doesn't matter though, just because, obviously, because of how the fact that you no need to worry about the, you know, the time limits with, you know, the numbers decreasing and such, unlike the first game and the Virtual Boy Wario Land game, so, Oh, really? Okay, whatever. Sometimes there's going to be a lot of emphasis on, like, surprise attacks on you for specific ghosts like this, because again, you can't really see what's on the far right or the far left, because obviously we're dealing with the Game Boy screen, so that means, you know, just gonna have to able to guess which one of those formations they're able to actually, or predict the movements of those ghosts, so... Okay, so let's try this again, third time. Ah, shoot, I timed it a bit too late. But anyway, in fact, another thing I just want to point out is the fact that when it comes to Sonic Colors Ultimate for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, as far as I predicted that correctly, I can assure to that, you know how Sonic has already mentioned about the fact that, or actually, couldn't think about it, I've already mentioned about this, didn't I? Ever since in the previous part. That is, yes, unfortunately though, that I predicted that correctly when it comes to the Switch version of Sonic Colors Ultimate, that it might not say the forms of 60 frames per second, or even as best graphics enhancements, which I have no idea why I'm saying things like that, because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually mentioned something related to Sonic the Hedgehog these days, ever since in Sonic Central, so, in fact, which one of those versions that you might able to consider pick up and play? Well, you can either get the PlayStation 4 version, or the Switch version if you play it on the go, or the Xbox One version for the sake of not only for playing this on the Xbox One, but also backwards compatibility with Xbox Series X, even though it's already compatible with it. So, in fact, there's actually a treasure room that is specifically down there, so hopefully we would able to find it. So, there's a pit of spikes over there, so, and if I somehow get hit, then it'll give me a knockback from the left. So, the best strategy I can think of is, I know it sounds a bit risky, but I'm gonna have to do this the riskiest move anyway, is by, facing towards the left, and then just manage to get hit by spikes, and then give me a knockback all the way to the right. So, because of that, that actually helps me out. Especially noticeable how the fact that, although you lose a whole bunch of coins if you manage to do this, but aside from all that stuff though, that's the only method I always attempt to go for. So either way though, let's see here. If I recall correctly, it's gonna be on, I wonder, think. Oh, I know, it's on the 6th spot. There we go. Whew. I was expecting if the actual cloud-like enemy or that jelly-looking enemy will be the easiest, but again, as I said, these padlocks will be randomized each time whenever you're able to actually just to enter those treasure room-like mini-games, so... But that's how it goes, basically. So I get the feeling that we need to use that mice-like enemies to able to progress, because obviously we can't jump a bit higher from that section over there. So, but here's the thing, we, obviously we do need him to guide him to, over there specifically, and then jump on him, and there you go. Awesome, swell stuff, if you're trying to figure it out though. And I think there's also another one over there, which all it gets is just more coins. So let's not worry about that right now, because now we need to deal with another duck that we can able to deal out with. I know it seems a bit out of order when it comes to forms of dealing with those, you know, those duck-like enemies, as you can see. So, but what I'm guessing is, as far as I'm concerned anyway, I'm basically going to be saving up the second room until for last, because obviously with this whole oh god, I'm gonna have to do this again, aren't I? But again, it's just a bit picky with that specific right keypad for my my keyboard, because sometimes I did manage to press it at the right time, but most of the time it doesn't work. But that's the reason why it might actually took so long to able to actually upload these things, just because of the forms of my keyboard problem. But either way though, I was expecting if I was gonna able to trying to actually access to my Bluetooth, we're able to use the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, or even a GameCube controller adapter to make the game a bit easier, but unfortunately though, at the moment, I'm gonna have to do it the harder way by doing with the keyboard, which is a bit awkward for me. So, but either way, I'll try to sort that out at some point, so... Alright, let's move on to the next room, which is of course room number 3, so we can able to actually just to bust out those little enemy-like blocks, so that way we could able to potentially try to progress. So, and I get the feeling there might be something up there, but we'll save it up until whenever we deal with the third duck, so... Okay, something's worth mentioning for this point as well is the fact that, also, during around the same day as when Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart for the PlayStation 5 has came out, I believe also is the fact that Final Fantasy VII Remake, that little game I was going to be on about, exclusive to the PlayStation 5, that particular version is about to come out also during today as well. So because of that, yeah, if you do like Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PlayStation 4 already, then you're most likely going to enjoy the PlayStation 5 Remake or the actual port to the already existed amazing PlayStation 4 Remake existence. So either way though, but obviously I don't have my PlayStation 5 though, because obviously, much like Xbox Series X, this is more likely due to stocking issues. So, yeah, I think I already mentioned about that earlier on in the video, haven't I? So, oh well, beggars selves can be choosers, I suppose. And also, because of the forms of why I'm not going to get a PlayStation 5, sadly, is because, obviously, it will not fit in onto my gaming cabinet. So, as long as I could potentially get the digital version, but it might be still a bit too big. So, because of that, though, I feel like trying to pass on it, though. As long as if they potentially try to able to go for a slimmer model, which I don't know if that will exist yet, but we'll see what happens, even though despite the fact that Sony's going to be once again skipping, you know, E3, just like in 2019 and such, so, yeah, that seems kind of a bummer, specifically for PlayStation fanboys out there, so I totally understand why, so... Anyways, now let's go and deal with the last duck on this level, which is of course on room 2, and we do need to require Zombie Wario in order to able to make it, so as long as we're able to actually get touched by a ghost. So because of that though, we can able to just drop down from there, and, well, we can able to make it to the sunlight. And that way it'll give us back into its normal state. And, I know there's definitely something down there, but it seems it's not possible. So, we're just gonna skip that, so... Anyways, let's see what's in here. Oh, really? Another one of those crouching to the right jump kind of way. Oh, jeez. Again, there's going to be a lot of struggles with that, so, but at least I can hopefully try to able to do it successfully, and before I do that, I need to grab, you know, more coins from the likes of those specific sections, so... But anyway, let's just go ahead and, go back down there again, just in case we're able to grab the rest of the coins. And it's a good thing I saved this room for last, because obviously with this section here. And plus you have to do it twice, by the way, if you do the chronological number order, so that'll make things a bit frustrating to say the least, but that's how it is for me, so... There we go. I think I did manage to pull that off anyway, so yeah, for that section right there. That's, thankfully though, dealing with the duck is actually kind of, easy to do if you save him for last. So, that's what I always attempt to do anyway. So, there we go. That's it for this particular, level right there. In this case, story 3. And we've only got 2 stories left, so even then, no, we can expect we can able to do something completely different or anything else to be more specific, so... Let's see what we got. Either 7 or 1. 7 or 1. 7 or 1. It's definitely 1, because I can definitely tell there wasn't any, black lines on the grids and such. So, 1 is the case. I'm quite surprised that we haven't exactly come across into, the 0 number for quite some time, because all it gets is just most of the time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, so... Story 4, find the hidden door. Oh boy, this level is going to be something more related to labyrinthy kind of vibe to it, which I honestly don't mind it at all. It's just the fact that since I haven't touched this game for quite some time, so expecting that if I was going to be able to be decent at it. Oh shoot, okay, there we go. That's actually a lot easier than I thought it was. But either way, as far as my final prediction, as far as the forms of this year's E3 coming up, I could expect from Nintendo about the fact that maybe they might potentially announce something new, like new Donkey Kong game or something, or a brand new 3D Kirby game, and even especially noticeable with the forms of a brand new Mario title. Well, at least I've already mentioned Mario Kart 9, or Super Mario Party 2, or Mario Party sequel for that matter. But I don't know about that just yet though, because again, we're not exactly at June the 12th yet until tomorrow, as I said. So even then, not expecting to be hype as ever. So anyway, so let's go ahead and bust out these blocks, so just in case for sake of progression. So hopefully that might be seems a bit more obvious. So. In fact, tell you what if I manage able to finish this recording session, I might as well able to do some sort of like a sunbathing later on throughout the day, because I know the actual temperature is actually getting, well, kind of warm, well, not necessarily extremely hot though, because I know that there are a lot of, like, people able to get suffocated by heat waves, like strong heat waves in the past, but let's not worry about that right now, just because obviously I'm still using the sun lotion, or the sun cream, what if it's be more specific, so yeah, that definitely seems the case after all, so anyway, so let's go ahead and I have no idea where I'm going. Even especially noticeable, it's bad enough that has been, you know, quite a few days since I actually did manage to touch this game for quite some time, so I have no idea what the actual path progression is. Even though I do know most of it anyway, but either way though, yeah, there are a few times though that I just wish they were able to actually indicate there's going to be some breakable parts on certain parts throughout the level, but either way though, it's just a maze, that's all there is to know, but either way though, it knows what it is for the most part, so... Okay, so I do figure this out how to able to progress on this part, and that is something to do with not that wall, but jump and then there we go. Alright. I know it seems kind of awkward though, but either way though, I'm just trying to able to figure out which way I'm supposed to go. But either way though, that could be the only questionable thing about this level sometimes, but still, for its time, it's the fact that once you get used to it, it's actually not too bad. So, anyways, let's try to get rid of those electrical enemies. Ever since in town. So, at least specifically in, I would say, in the down to the cellar mission. So, and thankfully there's some more coins on that room, so we can expect to grab even more coins to save up for the treasure room and all that stuff. So, awesome stuff essentially. So, and also another thing as what people has already speculated from is of course the reveal of the new Nintendo Switch revision, which appears to be Switch Pro or Super Nintendo Switch, but again we'll find out during the course of any further later details about more E3 announcements essentially. So either way though we'll find out. So okay, there's nothing here, so we'll just go this way, so that way we would be able to get some progressions there. So let's just go wait until that enemy just go across. And I bet there might be something down there, which if I recall correctly is going to be something progression related. But even then though, it has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to come back to this. So yeah, there's nothing there, so we'll just continue our progressioning, which that's the progression we are going. So even there's more coins down there, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on ground pounding or punching for those breakable walls, despite it doesn't have any cracks on it though. So either way though, we'll try to get used to it. So alright, so I believe down here is where, okay, before we get into that, there's going to be something over there, which I can always predict that because of more coins to grab, so that should be pretty alright. And I get the feeling there might be something that's usually over there, which is of course more breakable blocks and just, well, continue our progression and all that stuff. Alright, so we're not doing so bad so far. So, as far as despite being able to deal with a lot of exploration, as I've already said this earlier, so there is something in there though. So either way though, I'm gonna have to go back up there by once again jump to the right, crouch kind of way. Oh jeez. But hopefully we'll try to figure it out at some form or another. Yeah, there's no way I can turn back. Well, I'll keep trying. But first of all, let me just go in here to be able to grab even more coins while avoiding those little fishies coming from the water, and also some water rapids or water current to able to get used to with it. Now I suppose that's pretty much about it in this area, so it's just more coins, more fishes to able to get used to with, and that's pretty much how that goes basically. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get out of this area. So there we go, we've managed to succeed. So, but again, I'm honestly trying to do not know of how do I supposed to fix my the right keypad on my keyboard issue. But either way though, it always happens to me. So, and whenever we get on to Wario Land 3 though, that it will be kind of a problematic, because obviously with the forms of, well, we'll point it out whenever we get into Wario Land 3. At some point in, as I said, during September this year, along with Banjo-Tooie, so anyway, I get the feeling that, yeah, down there is where we actually going to be going to. But, let's get ourselves a bit of a dash jump maneuvery, so we'll just try to time it well enough, and there we go, we can now able to go into this door here, so, that pretty much tells us in from there, so again, there's not much else I can honestly try to talk about, sadly, aside from the fact that, well, I'm still going to be excited for, you know, this upcoming weekend. So, especially noticeable that it might be a perfect opportunity until when Mighty the Armadillo will actually mention more details about that whenever we, or when he will able to go back onto Mario Party 5, although not this weekend, sadly, just because, well, at the moment right now, it's because obviously that he needs to mention more details about, you know, the actual Mario Party 5 game itself. So either way though, we can expect this much, so alright, so there's nothing in here, so we'll just go back up. Because I know there has to be something from specific areas, but Oh dear, I have nowhere where to go. Do we have to... Okay, nothing there. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay. I got it. I got ya. But, okay, there we go. At least we get some progression there. Although I get the feeling that if we go this way and keep on breaking some blocks, that's where the exit is. But let's not go in there, because obviously we still need to find the treasure first. So, I believe the treasure room is going to be on the exact same room as in this ending goal right there. So, hopefully we're able to save that for later. So, sometimes I always have to be sure to double check if there are some parts I'm missing, but usually that's how exploration works. So, yeah, that's to be expected by this point. So, I'm guessing if I get this sense of feeling that it's definitely not that wall, but if we bust down this wall over there, I'm guessing that that is where the treasure room is going to be at. So, at least I'm guessing that correctly. So we'll just ignore that for now, and we'll be back for it, assuming if we get the treasure first. So, and I was expecting if the next Wario game will be on its way, but I really don't know about that yet, and so God knows if WarioWare will be the thing, or the new Wario Land game, but then again, it's pretty unknown at this rate, especially how the fact of the matter is, though, is that we're actually getting really close to the actual celebrating E3, so, yeah, that's to be expected by that point. So, anyway, let's grab some more coins from over there. And if we go into this door over there, then, yep, that's where the treasure room is. So, and I don't know what difficulty I might as well go for, but I'm guessing I might as well go on normal again. So, if you're probably wondering that why I'm ignoring easy mode for the majority of the Let's Play itself, mainly it's because I've already shown you guys a little bit on easy mode, or I have no words to say, because I have no idea of how I could have mentioned something new. But either way though, at least we actually got the easy picture right here, so yeah, I feel like sense of accomplishment right there. So now we got that treasure, so now we can able to leave the level, so well, at least despite the fact that this level can be filled a bit more, well, can be a bit more labyrinthy to say the least, so, but as far as how it goes for me. So anyway, let's just go ahead and go over there, and then just trying to go down, and then boom, there we go, we made it to the goal. So, awesome. And once again, we'll grab more coins to my coin total count. So, either way though, it's time to deal with another, number matching game again. So, let's see, is it going to be this time? Is it going to be 5? Or... I'm guessing it's going to be 5, because I can definitely see that familiar angle C right there. So yeah, 5 as it stands for. So there we go. And there we go, we got ourselves our 24th piece of the map. So yeah, potentially we're almost at the halfway point in the actual map. So curious to see what that really does if we fill it up entirely. So final story, the final battle. So, final chapter, final story, final battle. So many finals. But anyway, and this is what we might actually come across into the forms of Captain Syrup, which, well, to be expected ever since the forms of the first Wario Land game. So, even though until Wario Land 3, or even Wario Land 4, or heck, even with the forms of Wario Master of Disguise, we might actually come across into the forms of a different villain. Or to be more specifically, in Wario Land the Shake Dimension, or Shake It, depending on what region you lived in. Although, to be fair though, Captain Syrup will make a return until Wario Land Shake It though, of course. But usually, relatively speaking, it's just the fact that we're gonna have to come across into a different villain to face off against until the future games. So, but I digress. Oh boy, this section can be a bit tricky though, especially you're gonna have to deal with a lot of like enemies that are trying to toss these wine bottles at you, which it might actually give you a knockback, which to make matters even worse, that basically you're gonna have to do the entire climb-a-thon all over again, which can be a bit of a nuisance, especially when knockback comes into play. So, anyway, and also is the fact that, really, I really hate these punching-like enemies. I just hate those guys in this game specifically because, as I said, they are extremely, like, kind of slow, or even especially noticeable as kind of annoying. They always pop out of nowhere, and as a result, if you get hit by those fists, you're probably gonna get the worst knockback you ever gonna come across into, which, to me, is kind of aggravating, honestly. But, at least we actually did manage to explore this section well enough, well, despite the fact I need to grab some more coins for the sake of the next treasure. Now, I say the next treasure because obviously there might be still more things to do, aside from the main normal playthrough, but, excuse me, but, again, we'll talk more about that whenever we, get into that progression. Sorry for a little bit of another awkward moment where basically I somehow belched all of a sudden, which is incredibly gross, so... Oh, and by the way, this is the Ice Wario, by the way. If you manage to get touched by the snowflake projectile by these enemies over there to the left, basically you become frozen, and basically it just allows you to able to get slid to either the left or the right, which it might be annoying in some scenarios like this, although there are some other transformations that we'll come across into at some point, even though there might be still some returning from the third Wario Land game, so that might be seems a little bit obvious for that standpoint, it's worth noting for, so... Oh, seriously, those birds are literally everywhere. And I get the feeling that we do need to use those enemies to able to actually destroy those enemy blocks, so for the sake of progression. So I just get the feeling of the sense of it though, so either way though, it might not be so bad as long as you were able to time your jumps carefully, but I have no comments to say about it. So either way though, we'll try that, and dang it, I got caught, but at least I did manage to able to get stopped from there, so that's alright. But not so much for this time around, and it's kind of annoying when if you leave this screen, and then the enemies will respawn if you manage to able to deal with them, so... Again, it can be a bit nuisance, but either way, let's just go ahead and deal with... dang it, I messed it up so badly. This might actually took me quite a few attempts if I was gonna able to keep on screwing things up beyond belief, but we'll just keep on trying. So either way, let's just God dang it! Come on! Okay, let's just time my jumps carefully, and okay, so alright, we'll just try to... Oh goodness gracious, that was close. But oh man, this is kind of awkward, especially how I was gonna able to expect to okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we get a sense of progression, so... Yeah, it's kind of weird that, usually it took me a couple of attempts worth noting for, although, gonna think about it, before we're able to continue exploring, just need to grab some more coins. Now, all it needs to matters for me, though, is that I need to find the treasure room itself, and then that way we're pretty much done with the actual treasures for now on. Well, I say for now on, though, just because, obviously, we're almost at the end of... out of all the actual parts that you might actually notice something, is that much like in Shadow the Hedgehog, that this game does have multiple endings. Although there's only 5, or technically 6, endings of the game, which we'll point it out whenever we get into it. So either way though, from now on though, we'll just try to go ahead and use those little like, these weird enemies to able to deliver them, and just try to destroy those enemy blocks in the process to able to progress. And I get the feeling if we go and enter the... Well, there's a boss room over there, so before we get into there, we need to not only just try to grab some more coins from these both sides, while at the same time trying to avoid those little axe-like sword stuff, which is kind of irritating to avoid sometimes. Well, I must admit though, because of my timing skills is way off. But at the very least, I did manage to able to make it for that point, so... seriously, okay. And it's kind of annoying that you have to deal with knockback, which is kind of a nuisance anyway, so... And it's also kind of annoying as well that you don't get the invincibility frames if you dare touch those little, axe saw blades or something like that, which, is, again, kind of a nuisance, but anyway. But since we made it, so jump and... seriously. Okay, there we go. And that is where the treasure room is. So, there we go. 25th treasure to hopefully trying to open up. So, might try to go on normal again. So, just in case I need to save up some more coins for the next number matching game to accomplish with. So, alright, so we're looking for this little enemy fellow, and it's going to be on the second slot. So, there we go. Not too shabby, and I honestly have no struggles with this whatsoever, which is kind of surprising. And we got the crown, so that might be something worth a while for its valuable purpose. So either way, though, we'll try to go ahead and try to be careful around here, not to screw things up. And well, we can now face off against with the boss. So in this case, the boss in this particular chapter is of course Captain Syrup herself. And basically all you have to do in this battle is that, although sometimes this boss fight can be a bit tricky though, but basically this boss fight has two different phases. Like, the first phase, all you have to do is basically you have to use those little enemies to able to toss at her contraption. Then, after 2 hits, then if you think she's done, well, it turns out there's actually more to it, because she now sends us some sort of like a bomb, which actually activates the actual fuse or the kaisers of those flames. Because if you get caught by those Kaiser flames, then it actually tosses you out of the arena. So because of that though, it's all about timing as well. So yeah, you're gonna have to predict of the forms of specific pattern worth noting for. And also, because you're gonna have to deal with the forms of holding the bomb, and if you're trying to aim it at the right precision with that Flame Kaiser, basically that allows the actual Flame Kaiser able to go a bit higher up, and if it does touches Captain Syrup for about twice, then you would able to deal with the boss fight. So because of that though, this is where the actual boss fights gets a bit tricky and difficult, especially towards at the end. So especially noticeable that how the fact that she constantly moves a bit faster, I think. So but anyways, 4 hits on her and she's done for good. So because of that, we can now able to get our treasure back, or to be more specifically, some money bags back. Well, I don't know how to usually record that, but either way, it knows what it is for the most part. So anyways, so let's go and deal with this number matching game again, and let's see what number is it going to be. I'm really hoping it'll make things a bit easier. It could be either be 5 or 4, but at least assuming that those panels doesn't really gonna mess me up with the visually frustration moment, but at least in this case, 4 is the answer. So either way, there's our 25th piece of the map. So yeah, we're now on the halfway point in not only for the actual treasure map, but also the treasures and also the game length. Which, the reason why I pointed out, is that I'll point it out whenever we're able to see the actual end credits of the, or should I say, the first ending of Wario Land 2. So because of that, the ending involves around is the fact that Syrup Castle is about to explode, and then basically Captain Syrup, she's managed able to get tossed out, being like, you know, same applies to the forms of Team Rocket's, like, you know, Team Rocket's blasting off again! Except it doesn't do that little twinkle thing, so oh well, no big deal. And that was it. We basically received our treasure back, as I said, and we'll watch the credits. And basically, that's how Wario Land 2 ended. Or is it? Because there's gonna be still more things to come. Especially because, well, as I said, there's gonna be multiple playthroughs of this. Like, obviously, we've already experienced the first ending out of 6 endings of the game so far. So we can expect we can able to, like, come across into them at some point later on throughout the Let's Play for the majority of this month. So at least I was expecting to able to get some predictions going. So, because obviously this game wasn't exactly over yet for the sake of this Let's Play in mind, because obviously, as I said, there's still more things to come, because obviously we're on 50% of the game progression so far, for the sake of not only for the map, but also the treasures, and heck, even with the forms of the actual, like, you know, the main game itself, which you see why when this credit sequence is finished, because obviously it did show us how the actual cinematic usually ends up with. So either way though, to be expected by this point. In fact, you might actually come across into this ending a lot during the course of, well, let's just say, you know, between, like, other endings, which I will just discuss more about that, and during at some point later on throughout the whole month. Well, at least until whenever we discuss more about E3 announcements later that time. So that could be a perfect opportunity to be able to mention about that too. Well, along the same lines as when Sonic were able to mention more about those, whenever he goes back onto Super Monkey Ball and stuff like that. So, but you know, you get the idea about that. So even then though, it shows you the credits and to see who's behind the actual creating of the game. So either way though, seriously, I can't even believe this game will be 23 years old during the course of, well, ever since when this game first came out in 1998, and then later on in the Game Boy Color version in 1999. So yeah, why does time usually flies all of a sudden? Even though there was supposed to be able to be some other Game Boy Color ports from later down the road, back in the day, which is DX versions of Kirby's Dream Land 2 or Metroid 2 Return of Samus, but unfortunately though, the Game Boy Color versions of those two games doesn't exist, which is kind of a shame honestly, even though they did manage to go on Link's Awakening DX, so at least that's something, alright? So it looks like Wario is about to be rushing back into its castle, and basically, yeah, that pretty much deals up for that ending, can summarize as such. So because of that though, yeah, there's not much else I can say. So either way, yeah. Everything's all nicely going back into its normal state, well, for Wario anyway. So either way though, well, it wasn't until whenever we get on to other playthroughs of this game that we'll come across into different endings and different levels and such. Yeah, Nintendo RD1 and Super Mario Club, which I can't even believe they still show us Super Mario Club even to this day. Even especially noticeable with more future games to come, even though it's kind of a shame that, usually relatively speaking, that, you know, Club Nintendo has passed away, you know, ever since in 2015, because it's replaced by, you know, My Nintendo, which is alright, but not the actual ideal way of able to prefer that over the excellent Club Nintendo system, but either way. So yeah, now Wario's now in the castle, and, well, everything's all fun and dandy. So either way, that was it. That was ending number 1. So, and of course there will be some more endings coming up, so either way though, expecting to stay tuned for that. So basically, after this credit sequence is done, it actually tells us how much progressions we've got for the sake of stage clears, and how much treasures that you've got for percentages, and also picture panels. So in this case, all three have got 50% completion. So because of that, yeah, as you can see, there are still some more treasures to be found, so hopefully we're able to find those exponentially. And also some more picture panels that we still need to fill up. And also, we actually got ourselves the actual treasure map. To be more specifically, a stage selection screen. So because of that, well, hopefully we'll see that during at some point on Monday. So we can able to actually stay tuned for that. So, and also some other alternative paths doing that too. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up from there. So I guess we should probably end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Wario Land 2. Is that we're going to be getting things started by actually going into the alternative Chapter 2. Starting at the very beginning. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.